today? No. It's great. Nice to see you. Yes. I've done more in the living room as well.
I love these.
Oh, that's good.
They're for trick-or-treaters, not for grandchildren.
You've got little pumpkins.
Hello.
Oh, and bats. That's so cool. Very spooky.
Okay, I got those from Kate ages ago. And I got myself a...
Oh, look. You got
But my colours are autumn
little-
and Halloween anyway, aren't they?
jack-o'-lantern. Hello and welcome to day 22 of Vlogtober. It's about 5 o'clock and this is the first time I've filmed anything. It's been quite a day and I've been rather unwell. And we've also just been mooching about at home. I've been had some editing issues. I had technical iMovie issues, but that all resolved. Anyway, we're at Mum's tonight when we're staying the night.
Yes.
And she's going to do her mysterious poem reading. And
yes.
she's going to make us home-cooked lasagna. And I don't have to cook anything. And it's lovely.
Well, I hope it is.
Yes.
It might
Well,
be
it's
awful.
lovely because I didn't cook it. So, yes. So, and that's going to be today's vlog. Careful.
I'll do that when I put the garlic bread in. Right.
I'm coming out to show you the garden because, as Mum says, it looks like summer out here. But Mum's going to come with me because I don't know what things are called. This is a fuchsia. I know that.
That's a fuchsia.
That's a fuchsia.
Yeah.
Very nice.
And I've put all these in because these are cyclamen.
Oh,
because they flower all really late into autumn and then they come back in the spring as well.
I might put
And
some
it's
in.
the same as that. And what I've put on the table here, dianthus, they do the same as the cyclamen. They flower really late and they come back in the spring.
Oh, that's only nice.
And that's the same, that's dianthus. I like the colour.
Yeah, it's really pretty. I might have to do that.
And that's the blue salvia. Did you do anything with that blue salvia I got
It's
you?
still in its pot.
I put mine in the pot. They're coming through now.
Yeah, I just watered it. But
Yeah. So I'm going to put them out in the garden next
Well, I hope I haven't
next spring.
killed them with my terrible not green fingers.
Yeah, I'm sure you wouldn't have. They've got roses still coming out.
I was going to say there's a bud there.
Hmm?
You've got a bud.
Yeah, oh yeah. The roses go for a long time.
What we got up here?
I've got quite a lot of fuchsias.
What's this one? The orange.
I'm not sure.
That's pretty. Nice autumn colour.
This is a lovely blue flower in the spring.
It's a nice colour now.
Yeah.
Lavender.
The two fuchsias. I like fuchsia, and that one's a big bush fuchsia.
That's pretty.
It's nice, isn't it? Yeah. I like fuchsias because your granddad, he liked fuchsia.
Did he?
Yeah. They remind me of him. Inside.
Your hydrangea is so much healthier than mine. I don't know what I do to plants.
Yeah, I've got.
I just go around murdering them, I think.
That's
a
lace
lace.
one, and that's a mop head
Well, this
over
is the
there.
one I gave you a cutting
Yeah,
of because
yeah.
I took cuttings from
Yeah.
your old house, and
yeah.
my one is all right, but it doesn't come out like this. And
These
so
are just busy Lizzies.
very pretty. I have such memories of all various tests and surgeries and things, and there was always my mum's lasagna to look forward to. Oh, are you going to get some salad?
Well, if I don't, you'll yell
That's
at me.
springing. That's
Oh, it looks amazing, Mum. Is it
it's
your
all
usual?
right.
Is it your usual?
yeah. I don't have a recipe. I just make it the same way every time.
Make it so.
Yeah.
Don't touch me. On
Right. Okay. So everybody, silence on set, please.
All right. And
Granny-
I'll start off explaining the background a
Yes.
little bit. I won't go on too long. All right. This is a mystery more than a horror story. Well, some people think it's a horror story. I'm going to show you a map. Right. Do you know where that is?
That is Scotland.
It is. You'll recognise Aberdeen.
Yes.
Well, right at the other side is Inverness, you remember?
Yeah.
Being
I've
there?
been there.
That's
Yeah.
where we went.
Well, right out beyond Inverness to the west, there's this island called the Outer Hebrides.
Okay.
So that's quite a long way away. And can you see that speck there?
Yeah. Yeah, I can.
Yeah.
That is a group of islands known as the Flannan Isles. And there is a lighthouse on those islands. And on the biggest of the islands is called Erin Moor. Now, Erin Moor is Gaelic for big island. So there's lots of Erin Moors in Scotland. On Flannan Isles, on Erin Moor, a lighthouse was built. And we're going back to 1900, the year my granny was actually born. But and it had only been built for about a year, I think. This lighthouse hadn't been built long. And it was a very, very, very stormy December in 1900. And the way lighthouses are set up, there were three keepers on it, and a fourth keeper who was at home. They swap one keeper each time because they have to take all the supplies out to the lighthouse because it's so isolated. So they make they make a trip every, however the agreed time is, with the keeper that's going to change and all the provisions. Well, what happened? A ship was passing on its way to another port, I can't remember where it was, Leith, which is a port in Scotland. And they noticed that it was really, really bad weather, and they noticed that the lighthouse had no light, which was very unusual, especially in bad weather. So they reported it, but they didn't manage to, they saw that on the 16th of December, but they didn't report it till the 18th of December because that's how long it took them to reach dock. The relief boat to go to the lighthouse couldn't get there because of the weather and didn't get there until the 20th of December. As they approached the lighthouse, there was very worrying things. There was no flag flying. They used to fly a flag when they knew the ship was coming. There was no boxes for the provisions waiting at the landing stage. But most worrying of all, there were no people to greet them. And they got, the relief lifeguard man got out of the boat and went up to the house, the lighthouse. There's a compound round it. Gate was shut, went in. Door was shut, went in. Nobody there. The only thing that was unusual was the clock had stopped. And a set of outdoor clothes was still hanging on the peg from one of the men. No sign of any men anywhere on the lighthouse. He went back and told everybody on the ship. The whole lot of them came. They searched everywhere, all over the island, and they never found any trace of anyone. I won't go into any more detail at this point. So that's the background of it.
I'm already scared.
And they were
That's
all,
just the background.
you can imagine there were all sorts of legends grew up about what happened to them.
Mermaids, for sure.
And all sorts of add-ons that were frankly not true, but it made the story more interesting. There was a poem written, quite a famous one. This is what I'm telling you, because my dad used to say this poem and I remembered it. And it was by somebody called Wilfred Wilson Gibson, not Scottish, but yeah.
Wilfred Wilson.
Right.
We'll forgive
And
him.
he draws on some things that didn't actually happen, but never mind. Though 3 men dwell on Flannan Isle to keep the lamp alight, as we sailed under the lee, we caught no glimmer through the night. A passing ship at dawn had brought the news, and quickly we set sail to find out what strange thing might ail the keepers of the deep sea light. The winter day broke blue and bright, with glancing sun and glancing spray, as o'er the swell our boat made way, as gallant as a gullen flight. But as we neared the lonely isle, and looked up at the naked height, and saw the lighthouse towering white with blinded lantern, that all night had never shot a spark of comfort through the dark, so ghostly in the cold sunlight. It seemed that we were struck the while with wonder, all too dread for words. And as into the tiny creek we stole beneath the hanging crag, we saw 3 queer black ugly birds, too big by far, in my belief, for guillemot to shag, like seamen sitting bolt upright upon a half-tide reef. But as we neared, they plunged from sight without a sound or spurt of white. And still too mazed to speak, we landed and made fast the boat and climbed the track in single file, each wishing he was safe afloat on any sea, however far, so far, be it far from Flannan Isle. And still we seemed to climb and climb, and though we lost all count of time, and so must climb forevermore, yet all too soon we reached the door, the black sun-blistered lighthouse door that gaped for us ajar. Not true. As on the threshold for a spell, we paused and seemed to breathe the smell of lime wash and of tar, familiar as our daily breath, and thought 'twere some strange scent of death. And so, yet wondering side by side, we stood a moment still tongue-tied, and each with black foreboding eyed the door, ere we should fling it wide to leave the sunlight for the gloom, till plucking courage up at last, hard on each other's heels, we passed into the living room. Yet, as we crowded through the door, we only saw a table spread for dinner, meat and cheese and bread, but all untouched, no one there. As though when they sat down to eat, they could even taste alarm had come, and they in haste had risen and left the bread and meat, for at the table head a chair lay tumbled on the floor. We listened, but we only heard the feeble cheeping of a bird that starved upon its perch. There was a budgie there. Yeah, I think that was true. And listening still without a word, we set about our hopeless search. We hunted high, we hunted low, and soon ransacked the empty house. Then o'er the island to and fro, we ranged to listen and to look in every cranny, cleft, or nook that might have hid a bird or mouse. But though we searched from shore to shore, we found no sign in any place, and soon again stood face to face before the gaping door, and stole into the room once more, as frightened children steal. And as we listened in the gloom of that forsaken living room, a chill clutch on our breath, we thought how ill chance came to all who kept the Flannan light, of how the rock had been the death of many a likely lad, how 6 had come to a sudden end, and 3 had gone stark mad, and 1 whom we'd all known as friend had leapt from the lantern one still night and fallen dead by the lighthouse wall. And long we thought on the 3 we sought, and of what might yet befall. Like curs a glance has brought to heel, we listened flinching there, and looked on the untouched meal and the overtoppled chair. We seemed to stand for an endless while, though still no word was said. 3 men alive on Flannan Isle, who thought on 3 men dead.
Very nice.
Now, some of the facts in this poem are not true. The table wasn't laid for a meal; it was cleared. There was no overturned chair. But the thing that was strange was that one of the lighthouse keepers hadn't put on his outdoor gear in a really stormy weather. And the other thing that's not mentioned in here, when they searched the island, although I think it was the east side of the island, they had a landing stage at both sides, it was fine. And the other side, and they used to store gear outside, things like winches and stuff. They used to lash them outside. And the other landing stage was just a twisted wreck, an absolute twisted wreck. And where they built the lighthouse just a year before, there were train tracks, where they brought they built a temporary train track for building all the stuff, and the train tracks were uprooted from the concrete, and also the cliff top, the turf had been ripped back from a cliff top, really quite a long way, into over the top of the cliff. So. No, there's one or two theories. It was just a gigantic wave swept them away while they were lashing the gear because it was stormy. And the guy in the house had seen something and just ran out to warn them and got caught in it. But one of the lighthouse keepers was known to get into fights and be bad-tempered and all that. That was another theory. There was a fight broke out.
Or it was the Kraken.
Well, of course, the real explanation. No, there's a ghost ship. There's a legend about a ghost ship, so it could have been that, or they were spies took him away, or
That wouldn't explain all the uprooted concrete and things.
I know. I mean, there was something quite violent, obviously, went on there. But the thing is, they never, ever, ever found any bodies.
It's because the Kraken ate them.
Yes, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
spooky.
yeah. They said they found a box. One of their boxes that they store stuff in 108 feet above sea level, all broken and everything strewn about. And a rock of more than a ton had been dislodged. The cliff top, they said more than 60 metres, that's 200 feet above sea level, had all the turf ripped away back as much as 33 feet. That's 10 metres. But yeah, so it's either a phantom or a boat of ghosts or foreign spies.
Or wait.
Or a massive wave.
Or a massive
What
one.
do you think
Well,
it
the
was?
thing, but the mistake, to me, the oddest thing is the fact that a seasoned lighthouse keeper would have gone outside without his outdoor gear in a storm.
Yeah.
that,
Unless it was, like you say, a massive wave and he just thought, I've got to get out there and tell them.
Or he saw a fight broke out with the other two
Yeah.
and got
Or
caught.
the Kraken was there.
Yeah. Or Nessie could have been having a bit of
A holiday.
a bit of a holiday,
And
got
everybody's-
peckish.
Maybe she got
I
drunk
don't-
on their rum.
Yeah.
I don't think it would have been a fight because how can someone uproot train tracks?
But they never solved it. Never.
What do you think, Mum?
Maybe he was at the real life hole.
I think. Well, in light of recent events, when we've seen the wild weather,
Up at Brecon, yeah.
and the also the sort of there's lots of crevices and things, and that makes even a big wave. They one of the theories is, and I think it's probably most likely, a wave came up and down on them. But they're forced up through the fissures in the rocks and came in. Well, have you seen the weather we've had lately? It's quite possible.
Well, thank you.
But will it ever?
I'm
That-
so
Well
That-
done, Mum. You
that-
deserve your sip of Prosecco.
That's your Halloween mystery.
I'm here too.
I'm so telling that as a
And
spooky
that's
story.
courtesy of my dad.
Wow, homemade ice cream.
And what's it made with? It's made with
Real raspberries.
Not fake ones.
Not pretend ones. We did a nap.
After dinner nap.
What, you mean go to bed?
Yep.
You're not
It
going to watch
looks like
Strictly?
raspberry ripples, isn't it?
Oh yeah. Do you want a flake?
I'll have my after dinner up on the sofa.
Look at that.
And
That looks amazing.
the raspberry coulis, I just bought, I had frozen raspberry, and I just
Where's my
cooked them
spoon?
down with icing sugar.
Oh, and you said that you
And
don't
strained them.
you don't have to stir this, do you?
You don't. No, you just freeze it.
I will link the recipes underneath for the raspberry one and the other one, chocolate.
Yeah, I think, you know, there's loads of recipes online. People have obviously cottoned on to it, you know.
10 out of 10.
Yeah, 10 out of 10.